I just got an email from Serena's coach, Patrick Mouratoglou. Now, don't think I'm special. You can get one too if you get on his email list. So, he sends some great emails out to students, and I really enjoy reading them as a coach. So I wanted to just review one of them with you guys, because I think it's really important, because we've all been there at some point. And you haven't been there yet, you're going to be there someday. It even happened to Rafael Nadal, who we're going to basically talk about also in this video. So the title was Lost the First Set 6-0. Here's what to do next. And nothing can feel worse than losing a set 6-0 in a tennis match. It's completely demoralizing. You think, well, I probably don't even belong in the same court, or I'm playing so bad, it can't get any worse. So he basically talks about what to do when you lose that first set 6-0. How can you actually turn this around into a victory? So he says, when was the last time you lost the first set 6-0? It's not great. It's not a great start, but it happens to the best of us. And the good news is you can still win. And absolutely you can. There's been countless stories of people being down even 6-0, 5-0 and turn the match around and won. How amazing would that be? The scoring system in tennis allows us to reset the scoreboard for the second set, meaning you can virtually start over. So let's do that. That's great advice. Finding positives being down 6-0 can be tough, but there are some. And so here are some of the positives. First of all, there is nothing to lose, and break free of the expectations you put on yourself. This will allow you to go for your shots and to play more freely. It's like there's only one way to go from here, right? It's up. Second, the other end of the court, your opponent is feeling very comfortable, which can lead them to let down their guard. Now, I found this to be very true, especially even more as I coach now, because I know the mindset of players more. And you know, when you win a set 6-0, you're feeling great on top of the world, and you just love to keep coasting. You know, you don't really want to see your opponent's game lift and have to be challenged. You just want to go through and win 0-0. That would be the best. So when you start to see that your opponent's not going to give up and they're going to try, it can all of a sudden now all of a sudden you're down a couple of games. Now you start to get nervous. You're like, oh my gosh, I was winning. Now maybe I'm going to blow it. So I mean, the momentum can change really, really quickly. Here we go. Here's another one. How should you go about starting your epic comeback? Number one is reflect. After losing the first set, so rather than just being so mad at yourself, reflect. Think about, why did you lose the first set? Were they playing amazing? Were you playing terrible? Were you making the wrong shot selection? You know, think about, what were you doing to get down 6-0? What was your opponent doing? And is there anything that you can change? So think about that. Number two is make a change. Make a change, and then that sometimes can be the biggest change and help you come back. Hopefully you have an idea of what you need to change to start the second set. If so, put it into action straight away and focus on each point one at a time. And this is where I want to talk about Rafa, okay? Rafa is the king of focusing on one point at a time. And there was a match at the US Open where he just came out a little off, and Dominic Thiem came out on fire and won the set 6-0, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this might not be a good night for Rafa. But once Rafa stood up, he got up out of his seat after he lost the first set, and he charged. He did that, like almost like that Rafa run to the baseline to go serve, like he does when they do the coin toss. Like, he just came out with so much energy. I'm like, this is about to be a war. And it was one of the best matches at the US Open I ever saw. They played late into the night. It went deep into the fifth set, and Rafa ended up winning that match. So be out there, make a change, take your time. Here's another thing. Lots of times when people lose a set 6-0, you're embarrassed, you're mad, the adrenaline's flowing in a wrong way, right? The energy's high just because you're so frustrated, and so you can tend to rush to lose. You don't want to be in a rush to lose. You want to be, okay, you got me 6-0, but I'm going to make you work. I'm going to make you think. I'm going to keep you out here as long as possible. There was even a match, I think when Federer played the Australian Open a couple years ago, he was down to Tennys Sandgren. And they said, well, how did you come back? He might have been down 2 sets. I don't know, but he came back and he won. He was way down. And he said, well, I wasn't feeling that great, but he said, I wanted to stay out there as long as possible. I thought if I could just stay out there as long as possible, maybe something good could happen. And that's exactly what happened. He stayed out there and it worked. Bring the energy. And I just talked about this, right? After that first set, Rafa lost, he charged, he ran over, and he's like showing your opponent, and that's a big deal. That's a big statement. Like, yeah, you just knocked me down on the ground, but I'm getting right back up in your face, and this match ain't over. That can be intimidating to your opponent to see you lose 6-0, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, this is great. I want more. They're like, well, this guy's crazy, kind of like what Rocky did to Apollo Creed. All right, just some final tips here. He goes, as always, focus on what you can control and not what you can't. Don't think about the score so much, but rather what you can commit to doing to give yourself the best chances to be the best possible player in the future, and see the situation as a challenge. And that's a great thing. If you can look at tennis as always a challenge, realizing that you're always going to be in all kinds of scenarios. That's what tennis is, and you can just practice being in them and get better at them. Maybe you don't come back and win that match from being down 6-0, but maybe you can get better at coming back a little bit and showing signs of life. You're going to be in matches. You're going to be up 2-0, 3-0, 4-0. You got to practice what that feels like and learn how to keep your foot on the gas. You're going to have matches where it's just neck and neck the entire time and you go all the way to a tiebreak. You got to practice that. And you're going to have matches where you get down 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 6-0. And so look at this as all as a challenge and realize that no matter how good a player you are, you're going to face every scenario and go, this is a challenge today. Okay, I haven't been down 6-0 in a while. Let's see how I can respond. Let's see what I can do. Let's see what I can control. So Patrick, thank you for this awesome email you sent me. By the way, I do an event called TennisCon. So if you guys could share, if you guys like this video and you're also on Patrick's email list or on his social media, I just want to be able to interview him for 10 minutes to get in TennisCon 6, because TennisCon is an event where we work with the best coaches on the planet, and I think Patrick's one of the best coaches on the planet. And we got Gigi Fernandez, we've got Rick Macy and Paul Annacone and Essential Tennis and Fuzzy Yellow Balls, basically all the top online instructions. We had Top Court. So Patrick, I'm inviting you in this video. Thank you so much for sending me this amazing email that I could share with my students. And guys, if you like this video, give this video a like, because you know what happens every time you give this video a like? My buddy over there, B2, he'd come running to the camera and give you 100 free B2 puppy kisses. So like this video, subscribe if you love tennis or are totally obsessed with it like I am, and we'll see you guys on the next video.